So I don't have to pay $50 something for something that I already own and for somebody else to build for me. I can do this myself because this is all it takes. Let me cut a little bit more of that off of there. I want to make sure it gets a good bite. So you can see this is a nice thick 4-gauge cable. And this will make sure that this alternator can put out the power that it needs to put out in order to feed all of the electronics that I'm gonna put in this car and run the AC and the lights on high and all that. You want to be able to run everything all at once with no interruptions. And if you power it right, that'll happen. So a lot of times if you got music in your car and your amps are cutting off and stuff like that, it's usually because it's being underpowered or somehow wired wrong. But usually it's being underpowered. So this is what I consider to be the right way to do it. And I'll stick this is a 130 amp alternator. So what I'm gonna do, I thought I was gonna need that heat shrink, but I won't need it. Put this on there. I'm gonna put a 150 amp fuse on there. An inline fuse over by the battery. And that will make sure that the car don't catch on fire in the case of a short. Won't have to worry about that. So I got to get this crimped on there real good. This is a pretty big terminal here, so it's taking me a minute to get a good bite on this. So you can see that's on there nice and tight. That won't be coming off no time soon. But I like to make sure it's crimped real good so I won't run into any issues. So now that ain't going nowhere. Then you take this, you pull it back over so you can cover up those raw wires and make sure nothing else touches it. You know what I mean? So now that's on there. And now we can put that on there with these other terminals. I think I'll take those off and put them on, put the big one in the back. This is really not easy to do because these wires are really stiff. So I'll stick this one in the back, put it on first. And then put the other two on top. I may have to cut some of that little rubber piece away because it's kind of stopping me from getting all of these on here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this has like a little guard around it, and it's only allowing the wires to go one way. Maybe I can do this one from this side. Got a little play with that one. Maybe I can get that one on like that. Bring it in from that side. Like that. And put the other two on from this side, since there's two openings, because it's not allowing all of this thick cable. To get in there all at once. This is not as easy as I thought it was going to be, so let's see if I can force that open a little bit. So this is my little hobby, and this is why whenever you messing with the alternator, you make sure you unhook the battery. Do not take chances with high powered stuff like this. Unhook the battery before you ever mess with alternator wiring or any wiring in the car. But this should sit kind of flush, and it's kind of not wanting to go in there. Let's see if I can get this opened up a little bit. Let's see. I'm actually bending the terminal a little bit, which is fine, long as it's making good contact. It doesn't really matter. But I need this to lay flat in there. Okay, gotta grab another screwdriver. I have to play with this for a second. I need that to seat all the way back so I can get the other two terminals on there. Looks like I might have got lucky. Let's see. This thing is not wanting to let this up in there. I might have to cut that and make my life a little easier. Okay, so I'm gonna go the cheat way, and I'm gonna cut a little piece of this off of here. Let's see. Because this is actually made to kind of protect the wiring, but it is actually preventing me from getting the terminals on there cleanly. And I need to make sure that they're completely seated. Okay, this is a little thicker than I gave it credit for.